What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recent announcement from the Grizzly Awards, all that and more coming right up, so stay tuned. All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to be talking about that announcement. But before I do, if you're new to this channel, my name is Adam. This is Sanctify Studios, where I like to create and examine content with a sanctifying biblical perspective. And I like to focus on highlighting those artists who create content like that. So it ends up being a lot of Christian rock, a lot of Christian metal, a little bit of Christian contemporary and rap. I have a podcast called Sanctify Radio, where I've interviewed a few of these artists. And I also have a band called Classic Disaster where we focus on those things as well. So if you're interested in any of that or all of that, then you can do me a huge favor. You can leave this video a thumbs up, you can hit the subscribe button, and you can hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos arrive. And go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite Christian rock and metal or rap and contemporary bands. And that way I can hopefully get to them here in 2024. All right, guys. Whew. So we're gonna get to it. My heart is broken over this news, you guys. We're gonna be talking about the Grizzly Awards, and if you're not familiar with the Grizzly Awards, it's basically a award show highlighting faith-based rock and metal music. And honestly, it is such a cool thing. It has been such a beacon of hope during the last 4 years. It was born out of 2020 and the lockdowns and music industry being put on pause. A lot of our favorite artists in the Christian rock and metal world were really struggling and didn't have an outlet to be able to showcase their new music, especially those bands who had released music and then were told that everything had to be put on pause. And honestly, in general, the direction of the Christian music industry has been leading away from rock and metal. For whatever reason, these bigger entities like the Dove Awards, like there was a time where you would see Red performing at the Dove Awards or Skillet performing at the Dove Awards, and it just doesn't happen anymore, unfortunately. And forget about the even heavier side of Christian metal. Getting a chance to showcase what they have done in their ministries and in their concerts and all of that on something like, the platform of the Dove Awards. And so the Grizzly Awards came out, and it was such an awesome thing to see this family of Christian rock and metal come together, and for you to hear names like, if you're familiar with names like Disciple, Wolves at the Gate, Zana, the Memphis Mayfire, the Protest, Amongst the Giants, Seventh-day Slumber, even bands that I hadn't heard of until the Grizzly Awards, like Rusty Ship. There's so many different artists who were showcased. You had Fireflight in the early years, all the way to bands like, I think even Living Sacrifice were a part of that as well. You got Relentless Flood. Like there's such a wide variety of bands that are in the Christian rock and metal world that they were showcasing. And so if you're familiar with any of those names, then this is family. And I remember in 2020 just being so glad that there was a home for this kind of music. As Classic Disaster was starting out, I was like, man, it's so cool that there might actually be a community to be able to release our music to. And obviously, like, none of these guys, we don't do this for the awards. We don't do this to try to gain some sort of glory for ourselves. But it's just a really nice, friendly competition and thing to do at the end of the year, to come together as a family and to celebrate what all of us have been working on, to celebrate what we've all been trying to do for the kingdom, and to celebrate the lives changed, the people encouraged, the mosh pits that have gone on, like the fun and the exciting parts of the year. When new music is released. And so that is what the Grizzly Awards is, and that's what they've continued to highlight in the last 4 years. And you can see on their YouTube, page, let me back up a little bit here, that they have their live streams put up on there for you to check out. Last year's was the 4th annual Grizzly Awards. It was in 2023. but they were highlighting 2022 releases. And then same thing, I think it was around that same time in like March or April in 2022, highlighting 2021 music releases and so on and so forth. So again, like names, we'll see right here, Breaking the Mirror from Fit for a King. We've got Don Michelle from Firefly. We've got Zana. We've got Fight the Fade. Again, like Spoken. All of these bands are bands that are just in the family of Christian rock and metal. And again, there's just not very many spaces for these bands to be showcased and highlighted. Last year, I think there were performances from Rusty Ship and from Nate Parrish even, you know, like that we have an outlet because, you know, Grizzly Awards created that for us. So that is the Grizzly Awards. You're going to want to make sure you watch those. It's just a fun time. There's even like full band live streams, I think in the first or second year. So go and check that out. But today we're going to be looking at the announcement that they just made on their social media accounts. And it looks like we are not going to be getting a Grizzly Awards this year. So I'll go ahead and read off what they said for their announcement. It says, as our incredible friends and fellow lovers of this music, we wanted to update you all on where the Grizzly Awards stands as we start 2024. At this time, the Grizzly Awards will be going on a hiatus and of undetermined length. Over the past 4 years, we have celebrated growth, purpose, and joy beyond what we ever could have hoped for when we started this event. We have also navigated the realities of a massive workload, constant challenges with funding, and grave personal crises in each of our lives as founders. And let me go ahead and say right there, like this stuff is not easy to put together, you guys. Like even doing videos like this, it's not easy to schedule the time, to be okay with practicing what you want to say. You know, I have the luxury of messing up and being able to start all over. But when you do a live stream, you got to be on your A game. You got to be ready for that kind of stuff. You got to be ready like mentally and physically and all of that. Everything has to be in place. The live streams have to all be set up. It can be a lot of work. And then making sure that you set out everything ahead of time, making sure all the votes are counted in, that there's enough time for it. I know for them, they really want to make this a special thing. And so they were flying out a whole bunch of people to come and be a part of the events. You know, it's a big deal. And it takes a lot of work to put these things together. And we'll see if I have time to be able to go into the specifics of these crises that the founders have been going through. But just know that behind every big event that's being done is an individual who is going through their own stuff. Like they're going through their own lives. They have things going on in their life in the background that maybe you and I don't see. And so yeah, that's the first part of the statement. So we'll keep reading. The challenges have been absolutely worth the payoff of getting to celebrate those who make life-changing music. But as this year begins and we evaluate what it means to be healthy as individuals and as a community, through so much heartfelt prayer and discernment, we've determined to place the Grizzly Awards on hold for now. In its present form, it's not sustainable for us as a team. So again, this is something that I can hear in these words that they really, really wanted to make this happen, you guys. They wanted to make it happen. It looks like they were really considering, you know, going through the challenge of trying to make it happen amongst all the other things that they were going through. But the ultimate decision was that they needed to take a break from this and not have this be weighing on them this year, which I totally understand, totally get. Like, again, this stuff is not easy to put together. And, you know, this is just a lesson to all of us not to take these kind of things for granted. When we get something like this, we got to really appreciate it. We got to really be praying for those people who put it together, because this is not an easy thing to do. And it's not guaranteed. Obviously, it's not something that we should be taking for granted. So not sustainable for us as a team this year. This does not necessarily mean the end of the Grizzly Awards. And it also absolutely does not mean the end of our opportunities to celebrate and support artists. If you have an artist who released music that you loved in 2023, we'd urge you to tell your friends about them. Message the band your story of how much the music changed you. Buy a t-shirt. Best yet, go to a show and sing along. In doing each of these things, you're keeping the Grizzly Awards alive. Yeah, you can hear their heart. Like, they still want to be a catalyst for the music being highlighted and showcased. And again, I want to echo what they're saying. I try my best to highlight the bands and highlight the music that's been released over the course of the year. I'm just one guy, and I can't buy everybody's CDs. I can't buy everybody's merch. And even then, I'm in California. Financial stuff is not very easy over here. So if you happen to be in a place where you just have one of your favorite artists and you want to buy that one t-shirt, want to buy that one CD, it means the world to whoever you do that for. And it's free to send a message, you guys. If you've been encouraged by any of these bands, if you've been encouraged by any of these songs, then go send that message. You're not bugging. If they can't get to it, they won't get to it, and don't have any hard feelings about that. But I don't think these bands ever get tired of hearing how God is using their music in the lives of those who are listening to it. So I want to echo what they're saying. Yeah, go and support, go and send those messages. Just show some love to those bands who have been putting in the work this year to get those music releases out. So by doing each of these things, you're keeping the Grizzly Awards alive. And I think this is the last slide here. It has been the greatest honor to provide a framework for you all to express your love for this life-changing music. Each one of us continues to be a fierce advocate for and believer in faith-based rock and roll. So here's to the life change that continues. With love, Mary Nickel, Joel Buris, Cindy Blankenship, and Trevor Tyson. And those four are the ones who were hosting the awards last year. I know that there's even more people who have been involved with it over the course of 4 years. And so, keep these guys in your prayers, okay? Keep them in your prayers. Obviously, whatever they are either all going through or some of them are going through has been weighing on them enough so that they needed to step back from this. And so I'm sure it would be helpful for us to take the time to pray for them and to even send them a message like, thank you guys. Honestly, Grizzly Awards, the team, Mary, Joel, Cindy, and Trevor, thank you guys so much for what you have done with the Grizzly Awards. I remember, again, when it first came out, I was so excited. And then this last year, I remember sitting at my TV. I was like, I got to get it on the big screen this time. I think when I first was watching it, it was on my phone. I was watching it on Facebook, and it was next time I got to really make sure that I get this on the big screen with my popcorn ready, my phone I had it on my phone so that I could message and do the live stream chat, but it was on the screen so that I could see it on the big screen and everything. I was really excited for it. It's definitely been a highlight of the year for me. And then obviously being an artist, that's just starting out. We just started releasing music in 2023. It was definitely in the back of my mind to be like, oh man, it would be really cool if we could be able to be a part of that family in the Grizzly Awards. And again, none of us do this for awards, but it's so nice to have, for one, a standard, to know that there is a place where you're going to have a community of people voting and celebrating specifically Christian rock and metal. Not very many spaces highlight those genres specifically, so that was really nice for that. But also, the Grizzly Awards was specific to faith-based music, faith-based rock and metal, music that is focused on wanting to glorify God, or at least the group of people wanting to glorify God with their music. Stuff that you didn't have to worry about having sinful themes in it, provocative language, provocative themes. Obviously a lot of our music, the Christian music world, we talk about some heavy topics. We talk about deep things. We're not going to shy away from things that are real and need to be discussed in the music. But it's music that you can be proud of. It's music that you can share with your friends and family. And they may not love the screaming, they may not love, the style itself, but the content of the music is faith-based, and it's sanctifying, and it's biblical. And so I love that the Grizzly Awards was focused on highlighting and celebrating those artists. That's what this channel's about. That's a big reason why I started doing this and why Sanctify Studios is specific to faith-based music, and why I'll continue to be, because we need to have spaces like that for our family, for our community. And Mary, Joel, Cindy, and Trevor, you guys brought the family together with the Grizzly Awards, and you've continued to do that year after year. And I'm thankful for that. I know everybody else is thankful for that. The artists are thankful for that. And this isn't going to be the end, you guys. It's not going to be the end of the Grizzly Awards. I know they're going to be coming back strong. And I'm excited for when everyone is able to allow God to work in their lives, allow God to just give them that break, give them that time off that they need. Whatever it is that they're going through. I know some of them are dealing with some life-changing, some life-threatening issues. And so just keep them in your prayers. And, you know, if you're wanting some outlets to be able to discuss and talk about music that was released in 2023, I know that Kingdom Core just put out his top 50 albums and EPs. So go over to his page and you can check that out. He's mostly active on Instagram and on Facebook, and I think on Twitter now as well. For the Rock just released his top 25 Christian rock and metal albums, so you can check that out. I did a best of 2023 Christian rock and metal music. It's 3 hours long, which I know is a really long time, but I did timestamp all of the artists that I talked about. And so if you don't care what I think about certain artists, you can just skip that and fast forward to the ones you do care about. And that's in the video tab of the channel and everything. And I'll say this again, because I know I've said it before, but this was created specifically for Christian rock and metal, or, you know, faith-based rock and metal. And even then, guys, even then, it's so hard for every single band to get showcased and every single band to get talked about, because Christian rock and metal is a wide group of people and a wide group of bands, even a wide group of sub-genres within that, right? So I'll say this again. Grizzly Awards was started because a group of people thought it would be a really good idea to do something like that, and they did it, okay? They made it happen. I'm trying to get better at this over here at Sanctify Studios, and I keep doing video after video and after video, and I just try to get better and better. It's because I had an idea for something, and then I went and did it. If you're not seeing the bands that you want highlighted on this channel or on For the Rock or Kingdom Core or somewhere else, then start your channel, you guys. I'm giving you permission to start your channel, make it happen. You can do it. And maybe you'll be involved with the next Grizzly Awards. Maybe you'll start something completely new. I don't know, but I do know that we need more people who are willing to do stuff like that, because it brings the family together and it allows us to have a time to celebrate what God is doing through this music, celebrate the releases that have happened, and give some hope to people. Not even just the listeners in the audience, but even some hope to the artists themselves. It's not easy being an artist nowadays. It's not easy to release music and know that there's not a lot of people streaming. There's not a lot of people buying CDs. Financially, everybody's hurting, so there's not a lot of people buying merch. But everybody needs this constant flow of encouragement and this constant flow of testimonies being brought to you in the form of, you know, screaming music and breakdowns and stuff. And I know that that's something that we as the artists also need as we continue to release that music and take what God has been doing in our lives and put it through those songs and the music. So yeah, let's all do our best to, in 2024, to find out, what is God calling us to do? What is God calling us to create? Maybe you're someone who needs to step back a little bit, like the Grizzly Awards is doing right now. Maybe you got to focus elsewhere in your life. But either way, guys, let's make sure that we pray for those involved with the Grizzly Awards. And I am really hoping that in 2025 we get to do a 2024 release party with the Grizzly Awards for that. So anyways, guys, I've rambled enough. If you enjoyed this video, then you can do me a huge favor. You can leave this video a thumbs up. You can hit the subscribe button, and you can hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos arrive. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Did you see any of the Grizzly Awards? Which one was your favorite? And what are some bands that maybe you would have put in your top 5 for 2023? go ahead and list them down in the comments down below. Again, there's two ways that you can help support this channel. One is by supporting my band, Classic Disaster. It would mean the world if you would go over to our Instagram and give us a follow there. If you would go over to our Spotify and give us a follow there and put one of our songs in your workout playlist or your heavy music playlist, that would be awesome. And then the second way that you can support, if you're a musician, if you're someone who's been making demos at home and you're wondering, how do I get those demos out onto Spotify and streaming platforms and all across the world for my fans to listen to, or even just my family, and you want to know how to do it, well, I have a code for you to get 7% off of DistroKid, and that's in the link down below. I'm going to preface this with saying, I don't know if DistroKid is the best distribution for you to release your music on. I know there's DistroKid, there's CD Baby, I think there's still TuneCore, there's a bunch out there. Do your research. I know with DistroKid, you have one price for the whole entire year. If you want add-on stuff, obviously it costs more, but you don't have to do those add-on stuff. Add-on stuff would be like normalizing your song, doing YouTube scans. If you have a cover song, you have to pay for the licensing for that stuff. But if you just want to release music, it doesn't matter whether it's a single, a bunch of different singles, an EP, or an album. It's one price for the entire year. And you just have to decide if you want to go in as a one band project, which would be, I think, $22.99 for the whole year. And then it's a little bit more if you end up having two bands. So for myself, I have Adam J. Castro as a solo project, and then I have Classic Disaster. So I do the two. And then if you have multiple bands underneath you, most of you might not, but if you have multiple bands, then you would do the studio pack, and that's a little bit more. But if you're just starting off, 7% off of that first package is going to be a huge help for that first year, and you can use that with the link down in the description. All right, guys, with all that said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.